Hey guys, how's it going? We have one of the last new cards revealed from the Power of Fellow structure deck. It's a Sonic Chick Retrain. We've known that this card existed for a really long time. This card was on a playmat in the OCG for one of their YCSs, and it was a really cool playmat, by the way. It features Junk Warrior Extreme as the main monster, and it has some of the other monsters from the Power of Fellow structure deck on it. We've known that this card existed for over a month and a half ago at this point, but we didn't know what the effect did. I made a video talking about what I wanted the effect to do, how I think they needed a monster that could special summon itself and also give you a search or a special summon. I thought it would be cool if they gave it a 1-for-1 effect for the archetype, just because there is a 1-for-1 alternate art that features Sonic Chick. So I just thought it'd be cool if they gave the Sonic Chick Retrain a 1-for-1 effect, because I think it would be very fitting. However, the real effect is finally revealed, so let's go ahead and talk about it. If a tuner is sent to the grave, you can special summon this card from your grave or hand but banish it when it leaves the field. Then if Junk Warrior or another monster that mentions that card is on the field, you can change all monsters your opponent controls with 1900 or more attack to defense position. Also, you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchros. Oh wow, is this card bad. I had very low expectations for this card, mainly because I just wanted a special summon and a search or a special summon from the deck. I didn't even think that would be that broken, mainly because this structure deck already is pretty underwhelming. But Konami must hate Yusei or something, because they're going out of their way to make some of the worst cards I've ever read from a structure deck. It makes me pretty sad too, because I'm always really excited for structure decks because they're very good. You just take a look at the Blue Eyes structure deck, and that structure deck in the OCG was actually pretty competitive for a long time. Blue Eyes went from non-existent to an actual meta deck that people played and had very high representation. I just read some of Yusei's new cards from the Power of Fellow structure deck, and I genuinely could not believe Konami is releasing this in 2025. These cards are so weak, it feels like they were made over a decade ago and Konami just forgot about them, but a random employee found the cards and thought they need to make a structure deck with them. I honestly could not think of another reason why Konami would make these so bad. The only positives about this card is that it special summons itself from the hand or grave. After that, there's nothing good to say. Yeah, I understand why this card switches monsters to defense position, because they want you to use Scrap Fist so you get the piercing damage. However, you have to remember that Link monsters exist, so you can't switch a Link monster to defense position. That means this card just doesn't have a second effect if you're fighting against Link monsters. The worst and most insulting part about this card is that they put a restriction on it. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. Konami even had the nerve to put a restriction on a trash card that no one even wants. Don't get me wrong, if this card didn't have a restriction on it, it would still be terrible, but now with the restriction, it's super terrible. This is giving me Anchor Bolt Hedgehog vibes. Cards having restrictions on them that they have no reason to have to begin with. These effects are not nearly as strong as some of the modern cards that they're printing that don't have a restriction, so why are they locking you into synchro monsters? Now, it's not that big of a deal that this card has a synchro lock, because a lot of the good cards that you're playing in synchrons anyways are gonna lock you into synchros. It's just very upsetting that Konami thought that this card was strong enough to put a restriction on it to begin with. I don't know why. I'm gonna make a video on this later in the future, but it seems like Konami really just hates synchro monsters. I don't know why every piece of synchro support, whether it be good or bad, has some sort of synchro lock on it. It really makes you wonder how an archetype like Snake Eyes can get popular, a card that has 3 really strong effects. Meanwhile, Yusei's getting cards like Supersonic Chick that can't even have one good effect and has a lock on it. Who is at Konami that hates Yusei and synchro so much that they're giving us this garbage? Not gonna lie, I would honestly prefer that they didn't even make the structure deck if this was the level of cards they were gonna print. Cards like Scrap Synchron, Synchro Fellows, and Full Speed Warrior should have just been made as standalone cards that were put into a main core set. It makes me very sad because I was really excited for their structure deck when it first got announced. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and I love Junk Warrior, and I think Yusei is a really cool character. My hopes weren't even that high for this structure deck to begin with, but these cards are way underleveled for cards that are coming out in 2025. If you aren't aware, Anchor Bolt Hedgehog was so bad that I made a video talking about how the original Quillbolt Hedgehog was better than a 2025 retrain. Just for the record, the regular Quillbolt Hedgehog came out in 2008, so that card is better than a retrain coming out in 2025? Just think about that for a second. The only saving grace about the structure deck is that there is at least one more new card. That last card better be good, because the rest of the cards we're getting are so bad. Anyways, this new Sonic Chick Retrain is making me very disappointed, and I don't want to be disappointed anymore, so I'm gonna stop talking about this. I just want to get this card off my screen because it's a waste of time and cardboard. I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. Have a good one. Take care.